guys ready? Ready? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December the 5th. We'll call court to order at 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on November 30th, 2023 at 3:47 p.m. A supplemental agenda was posted on December 1st, 2023 at 2:20 p.m. And a second supplemental agenda was posted on December 1st, 2023 at 4:15 p.m.
Thank you, ma'am. And also just a note this morning, we will be stopping just before 10 for the courthouse Christmas party this morning. So I hope you'll enjoy the decorations on the way in. They outdid themselves this year. At this time, we'll stand for a moment of silence. That'll be followed by a pledge of both flags by our everyone joining us this morning. We'll get through our business as quickly as possible so we can enjoy more of the party this morning. Does anyone request public comment this morning? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to proclamations and resolutions. D1, ratification of proclamation recognizing the grand opening and dedication ceremony of the McDowell Funeral Home, LLC. Commissioner Miller.
Good morning, and if it's okay with the court, I'm gonna go ahead and do D1 and D2 together.
Yes,
No one's here to receive either one. The first one is a ratification, the Friday after Thanksgiving, the McDowell Funeral Home, a local business that has been operating in McLennan County for over 30 years, opened their third location, second in Waco. And so the proclamation was presented at the event, and I was really excited for them. They're a staple in the community, and their longevity is to be appreciated. And so that's the grand opening and dedication ceremony.
I'd like to say I do business with them, but I'm afraid that's a little, going out a little bit right there, isn't it?
Well, eventually we all will. But no time soon.
Okay,
No time
I
soon.
agree.
Okay. The second one is this Saturday, the Wayside Church of God in Christ Incorporated. They are celebrating their Founders Day, 57 years of operating in McLennan County. And so that proclamation we're going to approve this morning, and it will be given to them at their event. And so if there are no questions, I would offer a motion to approve D1 and D2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move down to the consent agenda at this time. I'm not showing any pools today. Does anyone else have something they would like to pull for discussion? If not, I'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good morning, Dustin.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, Court.
Where would you like to go from here, sir?
I think if we can go down to item I-1B, McLennan County Soil and Water Conservation District, authorization of request for operational and maintenance funding. We call on John Schlimmer.
Good morning, Mr. Schlimmer. How are you today, sir? And if anyone else is going to speak, have them come up with you, if you would, please, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
My name is John Slimmer. I'm the district technician for the McLennan County Soil and Water Conservation District. I have with me our chairman, Harvey Seams, vice chairman, David Wren, and Mark Stoll with the NRCS here in Waco. We are here just to ask the county for the funds they generally give us for O&M and maintenance of flood control structures within the county. We use it for basic maintenance, mosquito control, cleaning out risers, repair of, pipes and such as that. So I would entertain any questions y'all have. If not, we would just request the funds.
Okay. Does anyone have questions or comments?
Thank you for what you do.
You're welcome. We try the best we can.
Well, we appreciate it.
Motion to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your time this morning.
All right, thank y'all.
Appreciate all of you coming in. Thank you. Okay,
Commissioner, I think we can move back up to item F, bids, RFPs, RFQs. F1s regarding the Microsoft Office 365 migration project. And there's two action items here. F1A is authorization of CDWG quote. And then F1B is authorization of SHI proposal for reserve capacity storage for cloud backup. I'd like to call on John Carter.
Good morning, John.
Morning.
How are you today, sir?
Very good, thank you. So this is, excuse me, the Office 365 project will be going live mid-December. We're planning on the 15th. And what this is this is a backup system for it. So it's, first of all, the backup software, Veeam, and that's the option you see for $17,976. And then the other F1B is $7,314.80 for the cloud service. And that's to store the data in the cloud once we back it up. Pretty straightforward. You need a backup system for your email, just to make sure we have the data. This will also make it easier if we have backup copies when we start doing open records requests and those sort of things. This has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Okay. Does anyone have questions for John?
So the Veeam is a hard backup, and the other is a cloud backup of.
Sorry,
back-
no,
no.
I apologize. So Veeam is the actual application, the software
application.
used to back it up to the cloud.
To the cloud,
The
okay.
Wasabi is the actual cloud service to pay for the storage.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have been a little more clear there.
Well, you could be a whole lot more clear, and I wouldn't understand it, John, but that's okay. That's why you're here.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll need a motion to approve F1A and F1B.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Moving on to item G, contracts and interlocal agreements. G1 is authorization of software as a service agreement and related documents agreements with Tyler Technologies. This is for the Enterprise Public Safety, Enterprise Corrections, Enterprise Mobile, and Enterprise Attorney Manager. John?
I thought he was running out of the courtroom, but he was just getting back and getting more papers.
Brought everything with me in the first place. So all three of these items are the three pieces of the Tyler project. This is moving the records management system for the sheriff's office, moving the jail management system for the sheriff's office, and moving the enterprise attorney manager, which is the DA portion of this. So we'll go through it. Francis, do you have those handouts for the finance? Sorry, I should have done that ahead of time. Francis and the team over there have broken down these costs for the three projects to make it a little simpler on that spreadsheet she's handing you.
Thanks.
So as you'll see there, the district attorney piece. So each one of these has a one-time cost to get the project up and running, and then an ongoing cost for the licensing and the cloud storage. So for the DA, you'll see in the second column, the original estimates and then the current quotes. So when we came to you during budget, we didn't quite have this nailed down as well as we'd like, and those numbers have changed a bit. So we wanted to show you the difference in what was done at budget and what is now currently the quote. The first number there, the one-time cost for the district attorney, $201,185, and then their ongoing cost yearly will be $171,576. Same thing for the jail down there. Excuse me, the one-time is $738,102, and the ongoing is $349,615. Again, with the records management for the sheriff's office, the one-time cost is $367,826, and the ongoing cost is $310,604. Excuse me. So a little definition here: the one-time costs, those are ones just to set this up and get it running. And those, each one of them, you'll see out to the right there, it says DA forfeiture fund, commissary fund, and sheriff's office forfeiture fund. Those two agencies have dedicated funds for that to be able to pay for that one-time cost. Now, this project is expected to be 18 months, so obviously it'll go past this current budget year. So we're expecting around 60% of that cost to hit this year. And even though that 60% of the cost is hitting, they have allocated the 100% just to make sure, in case we were to get ahead of schedule. And those funds could be available, but again, we don't expect anything past 60%, possibly 80%, but I doubt that. The 80% level means that it's in production and ready to go, and I just can't see that happening in this budget year since as this project, I should explain a little. As this project gets going, even if we approve today, it'll take them approximately a month to assign their project managers, do kickoff meetings, get everything then initiated and started. We're talking about probably beginning of March before we actually start this project. And that start date, then we're looking at 18 months. So this will easily run through most of FY '25 as well. So those one-time costs are all, there are 5 milestones that have to be hit, and those milestones each require a 20% payment. So we're not paying anything up front. Once we get the project initiated and set, what we're doing, that's a 20% payment. Then another 20% when they get a test system up and running. Then another 20% when they get other milestones completed. And then at 80%, our next 20% would be due when they have a working product, so to speak, to where we can test it and find our problems and fix those. And then once we're done, of course, the other 20%, 100% complete. So again, we expect about 60% of that cost to hit in this budget year and the one-time costs. Now, the ongoing costs, we have to pay 100% of that number for each of these 3 items. And that's because we get it set up in the cloud. We have to use that cloud storage virtually right away. We would expect that bill to hit around February. That's when they'll be setting up all of our different tenants and all of the buckets that we need for our cloud storage. And of course, as you're testing, you're already using that storage. That's why we have to pay those fees up front. And there's also including licensing fees in there for the year.
So next year, we'll be budgeting whatever percent, whether it's 40 or less, plus the first year of ongoing costs.
Correct. The only other note I would make about this at the moment, well, 2 notes. One is this is on a Sourcewell cooperative contract. And also, I have a list here of other counties that are using Tyler. As you know, we're moving from our existing records management and our existing systems. Hayes County, which is a bit smaller than us, Brazos County, Williamson County, Bell County, Collin County, Lubbock County, Cameron County, El Paso County, and Bexar County down in San Antonio. Obviously, a few of those a lot bigger than us, and there are some smaller than us there. We're at about 1,678 jail population. A lot of those are 1,100 something jail population, 2,000 and 5,000, of course, for Bexar County. So we're in good company. We feel like this is the best option for us moving forward for the county. It really is the way to go. So we're growing. We have a large jail, 6th or 7th in the state. 7th in the state in population, so we need a professional management tool to help the sheriff's office handle this. And then the DA, there's such a connection there between the sheriff's office and the DA that they share data so often that this really makes sense for the DA as well. And the DA and the sheriff are both here. The sheriff's chief deputy is here, in case you have any questions for them on this. This is recommended for approval by the IT department as well. Okay. Any questions?
It's been a while since the DA and the sheriff's office explained this software request. I remember they came in during budget. So refresh me one more time exactly what these modules do.
Okay. The different ones. So start with the district attorney. That's called Enterprise Attorney Manager. And it allows them to handle all of their cases through this system. e-signatures, do OCR. It does it in the cloud as well. It also shifts data back and forth between the sheriff's office and the DA. And as part of this whole project, we're building in integrations for EDOC, our current system, so that they will still be sharing data with the courts and everyone else that needs it, district.
Who's gonna do that work?
The IT department. Tyler has a tool that they use for building those integrations. Our team has already tested on that. We've gone through a training, one initial training. We'll have more training because we have 200 hours of consultation here. And we're going to build those integrations with that toolkit that Tyler has for doing that very thing. And then we have Tyler there as a backup in case something, is a little bit heavier than we can handle or whatever. We have 200 hours built in for that.
Give me an example of the information that's going to be shared between the DA's office and the sheriff's office.
If we don't mind having the DA and the sheriff come up, or David Ives come up for the sheriff's office, they would probably answer that question better than I could.
How are y'all doing?
Good morning.
Morning.
So some of the advantages of the system is it'll allow us to share not just internal documentation, but when the DA has, and especially if the courts come on too, like scheduled court hearings, disposition documents, everything that we share, case documents are being submitted to them. We're using third-party softwares for that information right now. And Tyler becomes a one-stop shop for information, a single user database, so that we don't have the current system that we have. So there are, correct me if I'm wrong, John, 5 individual databases that currently exist within the system that we utilize now. Is that correct? Is it 5 or 4?
There are 6, I believe,
Okay,
total.
6.
Including the JPs and stuff.
So anytime there is a problem along the step in one of those databases, it has to be manually corrected. So if they find an error, they have to call us and we have to correct it in ours. And then they have to call the court and the court has to correct it in theirs and any other affected database one at a time. And if any person in that human chain misses a link, you're going to have incorrect information, whether it's for NIVER's purposes, for CJIS purposes. God knows what Josh has to deal with on his side. But the Tyler system moves us to a single functional database. If Josh and his folks find some type of error in our system, a transposed digit on a TRN number or something along the lines, they can modify that and it will update the system all the way across the database to ensure the integrity of that data is the same between agency to agency.
Who will have access to be able to correct or to input data at each location?
So that'll be a discussion that we have amongst ourselves as far as who's going to have that administrative access, but the permissions within Tyler, as the auditor could tell you on the Munis side, is very robust. So you have very extensive amounts of individual or canned accesses that you can grant people. Of course, everyone at the DA's office isn't going to have access to modify SO documents, and everyone at the SO would not want to have those errors corrected in the DA system. But having your main contributors, your supervisors who are able to make those corrective updates are.
But aren't you going to have someone to proof what goes in? Because what you were talking about earlier, that one person now, if they hit the wrong digit, it's going to be wrong for every department.
Sure, and there.
So there has to be a backup or some proofing somewhere.
That occurs in the beginning stage of the data entry for the jail. The jail is the originator of the majority of records that his office, the court, everybody eventually receives down the line. So trying to make sure that we have that data integrity on our end helps substantially for efficiency and the reduction in human error as it goes down through the DA, the court, the clerk, down the line. But we have systems in place to try and vet that information. And Tyler also produces, has more extensive checks and balances. It will not allow you to make certain things or enter certain things or skip certain steps without having correct numbers of digits. So there's a lot of checks and balances built into the system that the current system does not have because they're just user-defined fields. You can just type in whatever you want on the current system. It could be a number and you could type in the word duck and it would take it.
And initially, it's going to be records management, district attorney, and jail.
Correct.
But I think I heard you say it could be expanded, maybe eventually, there could be other, as long as it's legally accessible to different departments, they could also access this information at some point in time.
Correct. So
JP's,
the integration toolkit that John is talking about, we had spoken with Tyler about having to have that in the initial package so that we can still take those legacy users who are using the EDOC database and the information can still be pushed back and forth. Now, those other users will not get the benefit of the Tyler system, only the Tyler data. Or the data that's coming from Tyler. So in order to have those additional benefits, the statistics, the tracking, the end user customization as far as just being able to build modules, however you need to build them within the system, that is not available to them, just the data that's coming out of the system.
output.
How much are we currently spending on all these?
So we've talked here and there, you know, all of the systems that this will end up replacing, and that's going to take some time to fall off of all of those. I know they could speak to that more, but we're looking at a couple $100,000 at the moment, that the annual cost that these annual costs would be replacing. But, you know, again, I know just the cost of efficiency and accurate data, you know, is worth.
So you estimate we're spending about $200,000 to $300,000 right now in ongoing costs?
Yes, for EDOC and then all of the other subsystems that are used in addition to EDOC.
And so the estimate going forward for all this is $831,000?
That is correct.
And those costs would not fall off until FY '25 at the earliest, because this year we would definitely need to keep that around because we'll have the other applications.
And Commissioner, to let you know, that is an initial estimate. As we get the system and start to understand what it can replace, because it can't replace everything day one. We need that time to figure out how we can make it work to replace those things, and that's going to require a large amount of coordination between us and the district attorney's office. But that is a lower ball estimate to make sure that we're not setting a precedent for the court that we can't live up to. But there will be other systems that will eventually go away because of this.
I want to go back to the shared data, and I understand the need for the sheriff's office to infuse information to the district attorney's office and vice versa, but there won't be any sharing of like material case data.
No, ma'am. So the permissions and exclusions will be just as clear as they are right now with EDOC. What is going to be a massive improvement for efficiency with our office is losing one, if not two or three of those manual entries right now. So information that the sheriff's office gets from an initial arrest or a warrant or anything of that nature, we are having to essentially double, if not triply, enter it into our systems manually. And so that basic data is going to be shared equally across the systems and integrated even into EDOC going forward with those other departments that aren't transitioning to Tyler, at least at this point in time. And so your, attorney data, your work product from our office is not going to be accessible to them, just like it's not with EDOC right now.
Okay. And my last question, I don't know if it has anything to do with the software, but how our mugshot information is out there with a third party? How is that possible? I'm not going to get into is it legal. I just want to know how is that possible that they're accessing that and putting it out on Facebook?
Mugshot data is public information.
Okay.
And we receive this is our first year on the electronic open record system. We're going to end up around the neighborhood of 4,200 open records requests per year. Prior to that, we got about 1,800 open records requests per year just for mugshots. It was originally done to try to reduce the number of requests that come in for the 11 ladies that deal with this stuff to have to deal with that. It is public information at the end of the day, so the public is able to get that at any time that they want it.
So it reduced it from 1,800 to 4,200?
Yes, sir.
I'll check that math.
It's not It's not great. It's still a very arduous task to go through. That's also a standard. If you look at some of the other county jails, even some smaller ones are posting that information online because they've found that it reduces the amount of labor investment they have in the open records division for releasing it.
Why would somebody want that? I mean, if you get arrested and you have a mugshot, what is the interest in a third party wanting that?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I don't know, ma'am.
I don't know that they could answer that, other than just to have it.
And they're using widely available technology just to scrape it from our website and put it on their
Yeah.
Facebook.
Oh, we have it out there on our website?
It's on the sheriff's department.
Correct, yes, ma'am.
Oh, you've got all the mugshot data out there?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It is indexable data, just like the jail list is also on there as well. That's
Okay.
two common things that we get requests for, the two most common, in fact.
Okay. I know we probably can't do anything about it. I was just a little disturbed at the way this third party put that information out. I was a little disturbed by it.
And we certainly don't mind having a discussion with you, Commissioner, about that.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Anything else from either of you gentlemen? Or you three?
I would just say, final question, this is highly recommended by not only SO, but DA and IT.
Yes, and by the counties I mentioned earlier that also use these
Yeah,
products.
and they're, okay.
And I'll agree. I'll say this was a very time-intensive consideration. Repeated meetings with IT, with Tyler Technologies, with our team, as well as talking to other counties and district attorney offices about the quality and the services that Tyler offered were unmatched compared to other software sources out there.
And our, same as Josh, basically, for the sheriff's office, the one cost we can't estimate is the cost and the increase in efficiency. Right now, we're double, triple, quadruple doing some work, and it will definitely reduce the amount of labor that we spend on data entry, the correctness of the data sharing back and forth, people getting to court, people getting out of cases, people getting out of the dispositions for the cases, people getting out of jail in a timely manner. All these things will just be significantly more efficient, and we don't know how to put a price tag on that yet, but we are extremely excited about having a quality management system for records and for the jail. The jail, of course, our main consideration because it's the largest part of our business.
I'll say you can't necessarily put a price tag on it, but something that you can definitely use and consider is the CGIST grant money that we get, where we have to have that plus 90% accuracy, timely entered data. We skirt that line every August because of the current systems in place, and timeliness and efficiency is going to dramatically improve that, we think, because John mentioned several counties Tyler's in, they're in many, many more. And so when CGIS comes up with updates, with changes, those are happening across the board in all the counties across Texas. And that's going to exponentially help us.
So today's motion goes with what amount of money we would be approving?
Excuse me. Well, from the general fund, we're talking about $831,795. All the one-time costs, again, will be coming out of special funds that are not general fund, out of the
And
department.
that's all for this budget year, that 800, or is that spread out?
So, yeah,
Correct, so that's an estimation at 75%, which is expected the 9 months or so that we'll have to pay these costs. It most likely, frankly, will be a little less, as I said. I think we will probably get started in earnest around March. So it could be less than this number. It certainly won't be more.
But that'd be max.
so
That would
you'll,
be the maximum
you'll be
number.
expensing out that 800,000. You'll see that, cash disbursement out, but we will only expense the months that occur in this fiscal year. The rest ends up being expensed in the next year, so. And then, of course, we'll talk about a full year, budgeting a full year next summer.
The 831, is that for 12 months?
Yes,
So your figure of 482, 276.
yes.
That's not 75%.
I'm sorry.
No, no problem.
The-
Your budgeted figure of
Wait, I didn't-
482,
I didn't hear.
276.
So, if you look at the original estimate column, I can share my screen again too. One sec. So it's easier. So the original estimate column, that was just something just for us to have just a starting point, and those were some numbers, they were estimates, quotes, last summer when we were discussing budget. So when you go down to the bottom, you'll see the ongoing cost, summertime were $643,000. So because we knew we were not gonna be going live October 1st, we budgeted 75% of that number. And so that's why we budgeted 482,000. But then fast forward to now, the current quotes, you'll see that the total package cost of everything has actually dropped a bit, but the breakdown between one-time and ongoing has been adjusted. And so that's where that 831,000 comes into play. But still, because we know we still have a ways to go before we get to that payment of the SAS fees, our budget is still going to be sufficient for this year.
So the additional money we're looking at is the difference between 482 and 831? Since we already have 432
Yes.
budgeted?
So, it could, be minor, it could be adjusted a little bit, but when we're talking about the 2025 budget, we're gonna be budgeting 831,000.
Right. Okay.
I hope that was
And
clear.
moving forward, as we move away from a dual system, some of that money will be recouped back to the county as we move away from
Yes, certain other,
certain other products.
especially the sheriff's office, they have several. And just to clarify the question, the 831,795 is the 100% number, sorry, not the 75% number.
12 months.
Correct. My apologies.
Okay. And so we will start paying that in March?
February, March, we're not quite sure. But February, I would think is the earliest we would end up making one payment, and March, probably more likely scenario. So March through September for this month.
Any other questions or comments? With pleasure of the court.
Motion to move forward with the migration as presented.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
G2 is authorization of service agreement with Motorola Solutions Connectivity for private switch automatic location identification service. John?
Yeah, so this is the 911 location service again. What this does, so, excuse me, having the PS Alley and having this with Motorola, first of all, there's no dollar figure attached to this, it's just signing an agreement. But what that does is allow the 911 call center to receive the location ahead of time along with the building name and such, so that they can locate folks faster when they dial 911. And that's for all the county offices. This has been looked at, and it is requested to be approved.
Yes, and that's something else that's going on with most any building. 911 is trying to get this information, and so we're glad. Some of the entities are pushing back, not wanting to release it. So, but anyway, thank you.
We'd like to look out for the safety of our employees.
Absolutely. Any other questions or comments? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve the agreement with Motorola Solutions Connectivity.
Second. A motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dustin?
We can, item G3, authorization of interlocal cooperative agreement with City of Woodway for work at Park One Road. Zane?
Yes, sir. So this agenda item is for an interlocal agreement with the city of Woodway to chip seal their Park One Road within the city limits in the amount of $67,831.60. This interlocal agreement has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Okay, and just to follow up to that, there are 3 park roads out there, and it's going to take us 3 years to get to all 3 of them.
So, precinct 4 doing the work?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That was my question.
Yep. And like I say, it'll be a 3-year project. Any other questions or comments? Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Zane.
And I know Chris Collins is there. If we could drop down to item M8, Greater Wakefield Chamber of Commerce Monthly Economic Development Report for the month of October. Chris?
Chris?
Good morning. I'm here in person this time. Well, I have for you the October 2023 Economic Development Report. We've had a very active month in October from a couple of different standpoints. You would notice, though, attraction inquiries are down for the year. Part of that, there's two reasons for that. One, I think that we have seen a slowdown of leads coming through the state of Texas governor's office, which is understandable given the changes that we've seen in the economy related to interest rates. So I think that everybody's just been holding back a little bit to see where that was going to fall with the stabilization of rates that we've seen, and then the hope that you're going to start to see interest rates coming down probably in the next 12 to 18 months. I think that you'll see that pick back up pretty quickly. But in the meantime, we have not done as many trade shows either. When we look at the utilization of time and staff and the return on investment there, you have a better ROI when you're doing one-on-one visits and more face-to-face interactions with consultants and direct business connections there than I think that you see with some of the trade shows that we've done in the past. And so with that, you don't get as many leads that come out of that. So I think that those are probably two of the things that I would say that have impacted our numbers when it comes to attraction inquiries. But I would say the ones that we are getting are very high quality. These are, not tire kickers. These are people that are actually looking at opportunities to expand into the state of Texas, and we're taking full advantage of the ones that are put in front of us. As far as the other activity of projects is concerned, we're very active in a number of different projects that are ranging across McLennan County, and I hope to be visiting with you very soon about some of those as they are really gaining some traction for the community. When we look at the on-site visits, so that we have had a large number of those for the year, and those have been a combination of both boots on the ground with people physically being here and then virtual visits, and we are having weekly visits with some of these projects to work through the various steps of those. So lots of activity that's happening there. And then our business retention visits, we are ahead of schedule from where we were the same time last year. Lexi had a very productive month in October with 19 visits. She is on track to hit 100 for the year, and we're really glad about that. And continuing to really look at a cross-section of businesses across McLennan County to make sure that we are touching all areas, understanding what's happening within the business community, and that way we can be more responsive in how we're assisting our existing companies here. When we look at a couple of other things I wanted to share with you, the state of Texas was named the #1 state in the U.S. for business climate on November the 1st. We were invited to go to the governor's office, to the governor's mansion for that announcement, which was great. And we're able to take a representative from Graphic Packaging International with us for that, which was wonderful. In the governor's comments, he called out a few projects, and ours was one of the few projects that he called out. And so we were glad for Waco and McLennan County to get a shout out for that. And when it's a business magazine that makes that ranking, and they put those rankings together based off of surveys that they do with site consultants on what states are the best for doing business in. In Texas, they ranked Texas #1. When they pulled together the projects that were most impactful in the state of Texas, the Graphic Packaging International project for us, which was $1 billion project, was the 6th largest project in the state of Texas for 2023. And that's a pretty significant achievement. We were really proud of and continue to be. And then the other cool thing that happened that I wanted to share with you is that we were named by Global Global Location Strategies. So this is a site consultant firm, and it's actually the site consultant firm that we worked with on the Knopf project. They do a lot of analysis across the United States as well. And Waco was named one of the top 10 locations in the West, South, Central U.S. for food manufacturing. And so we know that we're a great place for a lot of different types of business. We know that food is one that we're really successful in, given the types of companies that we have here. But it was really nice to have an outside group validate that for us and validate it through their data analysis. So those were just a couple of good things that I wanted to share with you about what's happening in our economy right now.
Chris, I will say this right quick. I had a tour out at Knopf. And when we start getting these big projects in like that, I don't know how the rest of the court members feel, but just to set up an opportunity for each one of us, or two at a time, but to go do a walkthrough is amazing. What you're gonna see with, just not just Knopf, but several of our projects. So maybe that's something that we could start coordinating and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to go out and see
Absolutely.
our neighbors as they build.
I would love to do that with graphic packaging too, as they're going through for y'all to see it at various stages. So right now they're in the midst of construction, but they have 2 structural facilities that are under construction right now, 2 physical buildings, and then they're installing the concrete platform that the machine itself will sit on. And so the site itself is amazing. I have a drone footage that the next time I come that I'd like to share with y'all too, because it's very, very cool. But to see it with your feet on the ground and to be there to experience it is very exciting, I would say.
It truly is. So anyhow, we'll work with you on that.
Great. Thank you so much.
Good report.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Chris? I'll need a motion to approve the report.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, moving back up to item H, capital improvement and construction projects. H1's regarding the 415 Columbus Avenue site demolition proposal with Walker Partners. This is an invoice totaling $350 and is for their bidding services, and the remaining balance on this project is $2,900, and it's been reviewed and recommended for approval.
Comments or questions? What's the pleasure of the court?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
H2 is regarding sliding door control mechanism replacement for Highway 6 jail, authorization to pay application from Cornerstone Detention Products. TJ.
Yes, good morning, everyone. So before you have the pay application from Cornerstone, this is right in line where they are in the process. They just wrapped up. All they have left to do is some painting on the new sliders. Everything has been tested and everything is working properly. So we find this in order and we recommend it for approval.
Okay, questions or comments for TJ? If not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve pay application.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item I, budget amendments. I1's regarding the FY24 budget. Francis?
Yes, I just have 2 budget amendments for 2024. So I1A1, this is a budget amendment allocating funds to a project in the 2019 bond proceeds. So this is allocating funds to the Castleman Creek Watershed Project. That was approved on the October 3rd agenda. So we are placing funds in that line item. And then I1A2, this is also in the 2019 bond proceeds, Fund 419, and this is allocating funds to the tower projects, and this is for consulting services for the month of October.
Questions or comments? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion, go ahead.
Motion to approve I1, A1, and A2.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We have nothing under item J. Under item K, grant proposals. K1 is our ARPA discussion, and under K1A, It's regarding the professional services agreement with BKD Forvis, authorization of grant administration services invoice, October 16th to October 31st. This invoice totals $3,269.39 and has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Any further questions or comments? I need a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
A2 is regarding the State Criminal Alien Assistance Program, SCAP, acceptance of FY23 grant award. This is the annual grant that we apply for that provides federal payments for states and localities that incur correctional officer salary costs for incarceration of certain undocumented criminal aliens. And so we have been awarded $88,014, and we just need a motion to approve that grant award.
Okay, questions or comments? What's the pleasure of the court?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
A3 is regarding the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services Title IV-E grant contract for legal services, authorization of Title IV-E legal assistance claim. Francis?
This is just the claim for legal services related to Title IV-E CPS cases for quarter ending September 30th, rather. And this covers certain salary-related costs for the DA's office.
Okay, any questions or comments? Pleasure of the court.
Move to approve the legal assistance claim.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under item L, Department Office Specific Request, L1's County Treasurer. L1A is annual review and approval of McLennan County investment policy. And I don't believe Bill is on, but I know he has submitted this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I'm here. If anybody has any questions, there's no changes in anything. I recommend approval.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions or
And-
comments?
Commissioner, you want to do L1A and L1B together? L1B is the annual adoption of the authorized brokers.
Absolutely. Bill, do you have anything else to add?
No, I really don't. Rates are up. I hadn't checked, but I think last fiscal year was just a little short of $5 million in interest income in full cash, $9 million plus altogether. Don't have the numbers in front of me, but and so as was stated previously in the meeting, interest rates are trending. Look like they may be a little lower going in the future. Of course, nobody knows for sure, and so it's good for McLennan County. And so that's about all I can add.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. What's the pleasure of the court?
Move to approve L1A and L1B.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
L2, Road and Bridge Precinct 4, authorization of payment for bicycle damage. Commissioner Perry?
Yes, sir. We had a little mishap working in an area, and someone laid a bicycle down and left it there. And in our efforts to finish the project, we damaged it. We are having to replace the bicycle, so we're asking the court's permission to provide $292.22 to replace the same bike. So I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
L3, Tax Office West Substation, authorization of new fax line service. John?
My exercise today. What this is, there's a new multifunction printer out in the West Tax Office, and we just needed approval to add a fax line for it. The total cost for the year is $240. Sorry, $240 to get it installed. And then, because we have to run new lines out there in that older building. And then the monthly service is $20.85. This has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Any questions or comments for John? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item M1, discussion and interaction regarding the courthouse Christmas lighting ceremony. M1A is approval of order for acceptance of monetary donations. TJ or Francis, any updates plus this one donation?
Nope, just this one donation. It's a $250 donation from Lindsay and Joshua Jackson, so we would like to thank them for that for sure.
Okay. And we do officially thank them right here, so appreciate that. What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve the acceptance of the donation.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under item M2, this is the discussion on the sirens, and then also under item M3, the discussion on the MART Volunteer Fire Department request for a retired patrol vehicle. I know Judge would like to request these be deferred until we head to full court, if that is okay.
Okay, can I get a motion to defer is it M2, Dustin? M2A?
It'd be M2A and B and M2 and M3.
Okay. Can I
Motion
get,
to defer.
we have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
M4, discussion and or action regarding order prohibiting or restricting certain fireworks in unincorporated areas of McLennan County, Texas. So under the local government code, if we want to restrict fireworks for the December fireworks period, we would need to adopt an order by December 15th. At this time, emergency management does not see any reason to restrict fireworks. And so if the court's okay with allowing fireworks, we can just pull this with no action.
Okay. We'll pull with no action then.
Or no action.
Okay.
All right, item M5 is regarding the local provider participation fund. M5A is ratification of intergovernmental transfer of funds. This is under the Rural Access to Primary and Preventative Services Program. Heather?
Yes, sir. This was a request for an IGT for program year 3 for the RAPS final IGT that came in after the posting date for the agenda. Therefore, we're asking to ratify the IGT in the amount of $583,300.30. It had a due date of November 29th and a settlement date of the 30th of November.
Okay.
Can we go ahead and move on to the next one as well?
Yes, ma'am.
The next one, we are asking to IGT up to the balance in the LPPF, which is currently $1,372,087.96. And this is for the HARP, which is the Hospital Augmented Reimbursement Program, Federal Fiscal Year 2022. It's going to have a due date on Monday, December 18th, and a settlement date of the 19th of December.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Heather? I'll need a motion to approve M4B and M5B.
M5A.
Or M5A, excuse me,
And
M5A.
M5B.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
M6, authorization of fixed asset transfer form, asset transfer from the sheriff's office to health services. Cinnamon, did you want to cover this, or would you like for me to?
Basically, this is just a transfer of I believe it's a thermometer, A1 temperature scanner, and it's going to go from the sheriff's office to health services. And so we're just needing the transfer approved.
Any questions or comments for Cinnamon? If not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
M7 is approval of resolution and order appointing a director to place 1 of the Southern Trinity Groundwater Conservation District Board of Directors. Gary Thurman currently resides in place 1, in that place 1 seat, and he is resigning and will leave a 1 year on his term, and they are requesting that Gary Brandon Chatham be appointed to fill that vacancy. So we just need a motion to approve the resolution and order for place 1 of the Board of Directors.
Okay, pleasure of the court.
Motion to approve the resolution and order for place 1 of the Board of Directors of the Southern Trinity Groundwater Conservation District Board of Directors.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Dustin, what do we need?
Under-
We out there about 5 till?
I think so. We've got
Let's
probably
put-
4 items left. I don't know if you want to.
Let's push.
Okay. Under item N, Americans with Disabilities Compliance Project, N1 is the authorization of professional services invoice with CPNY. N1A is regarding their ADA study report for the month of October. It totals $351.50 and has been reviewed and recommended for approval.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
N1B is regarding records building ADA renovations for October. Invoice number 8, this totals $3,993.25. This is for work in the county records building. It has been reviewed and recommended for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, dropping down to the first supplemental agenda. B1 is discussion and or authorization of P-card certificate purchase quote for DigiCert for the IT department. John?
Yes, this is for our move from the .tx.us address to our .new.gov address. We plan to do that on December 15th, so we need a certificate so that folks don't get a warning that our site's insecure. This is $2,564.80 and covers 3 years. It replaces our current wildcard certificate. It is recommended for approval.
Okay, questions for John? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Moving on to the second supplemental, item B1, Sheriff's Department, authorization of request of K-9 release upon resignation of peace officer. David, you want to cover this real quick?
And you've got 151 kids waiting on you out there, so just remind you that before you get going.
When Matthew Quinn came to work for us, he brought a K-9. That K-9 was accepted as an asset. The court originally agreed in the document that upon his separation, the dog's retirement, the dog would go back to him. He is separating from county employment, and we're just asking the court honor that initial agreement to release that asset back to him upon his resignation.
Okay, questions or comments? Okay, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Is that, Dustin, are we good?
That's all the action items. If we just want to confirm with Mercedes, but we should be good.
Mercedes? Yes. We'll never adjourn without checking with Mercedes, so. Okay. Thanks everyone for your time this morning and making this go so smoothly. So if there's nothing else to come before the court, we're adjourned.